Hello dear ones, good morning to all. Welcome back to our science class. We are discussing the first lesson in science, that is plants, our green friends. Do you remember the topics we have discussed in last class? Let us rewind the topics. In last class we learned about leaves, right? Different types of leaves, and in the last class we have already discussed the structure of the leaves, different parts of a leaf, that also we discussed in the last class. And today we will be discussing the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so let us start the class. As you know, plants are green in color and mostly the leaves of the plants are green in color. Let me ask you one question. Where do we prepare our food in our home? In the kitchen, right? In our home, we prepare our food in the kitchen. Similarly, in plants, where do the plants prepare the food? That is in the leaves. So, leaves are the kitchen of the plant. Okay, so in plants, leaves are the kitchen of the plant. Leaves are the kitchen where the food is being prepared, or we can say leaves are the food factories of the plant. So in leaves, the food is prepared for the plant. Now the process is called photosynthesis. In plants, the food making process is called what? Photosynthesis. What is that? Photosynthesis. Now, as you know, plants are green in color. There is a pigment called chlorophyll. What is the name of the pigment? Green colored pigment, which is called chlorophyll. So, this chlorophyll gives leaves and plants green color. Okay, so chlorophyll is the green colored pigment which is present in the leaves. So to make food, plants need some raw materials. Okay, let me explain this process of photosynthesis in the form of a recipe. For example, to make chicken curry, we need some ingredients, right? Like chicken, some spices, onions, tomato, oil, water, etc. Similarly, plants also need some raw materials or ingredients to prepare the food. So, when we want to make a chicken curry, where do we make the chicken curry? Of course, in the kitchen. So, we take all these ingredients, chicken, tomato, onion, all these ingredients to the kitchen, and in the kitchen we prepare the chicken curry, right? Similarly, plants also need some ingredients or raw materials to prepare their food. So, the leaves are the kitchen, okay? In plants, where is the kitchen? In leaves. So, we will see what are the ingredients or raw materials to prepare the food. Plants make their own food, okay. So, and that process is called photosynthesis. Green plants making their own food. That process is called photosynthesis. The food making process in plants. That is called what? Photosynthesis. So, where is the food being prepared? In the kitchen of the plant, that is in the leaves. Now, let us see what are the ingredients or raw materials for photosynthesis. Now, raw materials. Plants need some raw materials to prepare their food. The first raw material is chlorophyll. What is that? Chlorophyll. As I told you, Chlorophyll is the green color pigment which gives green color to the plant. Okay, so in the leaves chlorophyll is already present. That is why the leaves are green in color. So chlorophyll is there in the leaves. One raw material or one ingredient. Chlorophyll is present in the leaves. Next is water. Okay, next raw material is water. So where do plants get water? The roots of the plant absorb water from the soil. Clear? So roots, okay, the roots of the plants absorb water from the soil and this water is transported to the leaves. That is where the kitchen. See, all these raw materials should reach here in the kitchen, right? Then only the plants can make their food. So water is absorbed by the roots and this water is transported to the leaves. That is where the kitchen is. So that is the next raw material for photosynthesis. Now next is carbon dioxide. Plants need carbon dioxide to prepare their food. So next ingredient is carbon dioxide. Let us see how carbon dioxide reaches into the leaves. In the leaves there are tiny pores on the surface of the leaves. We can see many tiny pores. These are called stomata and these are very tiny, very small pores we cannot see with our eyes. Only through a microscope we can see these stomata. Okay, so tiny pores which can be seen on the surface of the leaves are called what? Stomata. So this carbon dioxide is present in the air, in the atmosphere. Okay, this carbon dioxide gas is present in the atmosphere around, okay, in the air. So through these tiny pores which are called stomata, this carbon dioxide is absorbed from the atmosphere. So through these pores which are called stomata, carbon dioxide is absorbed into the leaves. That is how carbon dioxide reaches into the leaves. Children, look here in the picture. Here, this is how stomata can be seen on the surface of the leaves. See, like small tiny pores, and this is the microscopic view of a stomata. So this is how we can see stomata on the surface of the leaves when we look through a microscope. Okay, so these stomatas are very tiny pores which can be seen only through a microscope. So this is how we can see stomata when we look through a microscope. Okay, so these are small openings. As you can see here, small openings here like this, and through these openings carbon dioxide comes into the leaf from the atmosphere. Okay, so carbon dioxide also comes into the leaves through these stomata. So that is the next ingredient of photosynthesis. Now next, plants need sunlight, very important. Without sunlight plants cannot perform photosynthesis. So where do leaves get sunlight? Yes, from the sun. So this sunlight or sun energy, light energy, plants get from the sun. So leaves, the chlorophyll pigment, as I told you, the green pigment which is called chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll traps or blocks the sunlight. So when sunlight is there, the chlorophyll pigment traps or blocks the sunlight in the leaves. So all the ingredients are ready. So these are the ingredients needed to make the food, and this process is called photosynthesis. So I will tell you the definition of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants make their food using water and carbon dioxide in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. So, these 4 are the raw materials for photosynthesis. These 4 raw materials are necessary to perform photosynthesis. So, let me tell you once more. Photosynthesis is the process by which green plants make their food using water and carbon dioxide in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Now, all the ingredients are ready in the kitchen. Where is the kitchen of the plant? Leaves. Okay. So, all the ingredients are ready in the kitchen and leaves can make the food. And the food made is a kind of sugar. So, plants prepare the food, that is a kind of sugar. Using all these raw materials, plant produce sugar and that is called carbohydrate. Carbohydrate. A sugar is made which is carbohydrate. Okay. So, this is the process of photosynthesis. So, photosynthesis is the process by which green plants make their food using water and carbon dioxide in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. And where is the food made? Food is prepared in the leaves of the plant. And what is the food being made? It is a type of sugar which is a carbohydrate, a sugar. Okay. So, plants prepare sugar, that is their food. So, during photosynthesis, a sugar is made, okay, that is the food which is prepared during photosynthesis. And along with this sugar, oxygen gas is also released. During photosynthesis, oxygen gas is also released and this oxygen goes out into the atmosphere through this stomata. The same small pores which are present on the surface of the leaves. So, through this stomata, this oxygen gas is released out into the atmosphere and this oxygen gas is needed for all living organisms. All living organisms like animals and human beings use this oxygen for breathing. Okay. So, during photosynthesis, the food is prepared by plants and along with that food, oxygen gas is also produced and this oxygen gas goes out into the atmosphere through the tiny pores which are called what? Stomata. Which are called stomata. So, through stomata, carbon dioxide is absorbed into the leaves and oxygen goes out to the atmosphere. So, this is the small pores which help plants or leaves to take in carbon dioxide and through this stomata, oxygen which is produced during photosynthesis goes out into the atmosphere. Okay. So, children, look here, look at this picture. This is the whole process of photosynthesis in the form of an equation. So, the whole process of photosynthesis can be summarized in the form of an equation. Look here, water, that is from roots, water is absorbed from roots, water is absorbed by roots. Okay. So, water and carbon dioxide, water plus carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, how do the carbon dioxide reach into the leaves? Yes, from the atmosphere through stomata, that is the tiny pores. So, water plus carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight. See, sunlight falls on the leaves and chlorophyll pigment. Chlorophyll pigment is already present on the leaves. That is why the leaves are green in color, the green colored pigment. So, water plus carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll from the atmospheric air. From the air, carbon dioxide comes inside the leaves through what? Stomata. Okay, stomata are tiny pores. So, water plus carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the green colored pigment. Gives food, that is the food being made, which is a sugar. Okay, sugar plus oxygen. So oxygen gas is also produced during photosynthesis. So this is the equation showing the whole process of photosynthesis. So let me explain once more. Water plus carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives food, that is sugar plus oxygen, and this process is happened in leaves. Okay, so that is where the kitchen of the plant. Leaves are the food factories or kitchen of the plant, because the food is being prepared in the leaves of a plant. So this is the process of photosynthesis. So I hope this topic is clear for you. Let us move on to the next topic. Now, as I told you, plants make their food, right? So during photosynthesis, plants produce food, leaves produce food for the plant, right? Okay, so that is why leaves are called the kitchen of the plant. Leaves produce food. Now, the food produced is converted into starch. What is that? Starch. The food produced is a type of sugar which is called carbohydrate. Okay, and the excess food. Okay, so the plant use the food for its different activities, and the excess food is stored in the form of starch. So in plants, what happens is plants convert this food, that is this sugar, that is a carbohydrate. So plants convert the excess food into starch. What is that? Starch, and store it in the plant. So in plants, this food is stored in different parts of the plant. Okay, so in some plants the food is prepared in roots of the plant. In some other plants, food is prepared in the stem. Food is stored in the stem. And in some other plants, food is prepared in the fruit or in the flower. So in plants, the food is stored in different parts of the plant, and the food made is converted into starch and stored in different parts of the plant. Now let us see the different parts of the plant which stores food in different plants, right? Okay, so first let us see roots. In some plants, the food is stored in the roots. Okay, the food produced is, the excess food is stored in the root of the plant, and that root we use as vegetable. Okay, so that root where the food is stored we use as vegetable. Okay, so examples are carrot, beetroot, then sweet potato. So these are all examples of plants in which the food is stored in roots. Okay, otherwise we will call these root vegetables. These carrot, beetroot and sweet potato are called root vegetables because the food is stored in the roots and we use the roots of the plant. Okay, we use the root of the plant as vegetables. Examples: carrot, beetroot and sweet potato. Now in some other plants, food is stored in the stems. Where? In stems. In some other plants, food is stored in the stems. In such plants, we use the stem of the plant. Okay, example: sugar cane. In sugarcane, we use the stem as our food. And another example is potato. Potato is also a stem. And another example is asparagus. In these plants, we use the stem. That is, food is stored in the stem of the plant. In some other plants, food is stored in fruits. And can you tell me some examples? Correct. Mango, apple, custard apple, these are all examples of fruits. Apple, orange, all fruits, okay? Apple, orange, mango. In these plants, the fruit is the food. That is, in fruits, the food is stored. Okay, plants make the food. For example, in a mango tree, the leaves prepare the food, right? Leaves are the kitchen of the plant. So, for example, in a mango tree, the leaves prepare the food, and that food is stored inside the mango. That is the fruit of the plant. So, that food, the excess food is prepared in the food is prepared in the leaves, and the excess food is stored inside this fruit of that plant. Okay, so in mango tree, where is the excess food is stored? Inside the fruit, that is mango. So that fruit we use as a fruit, we use as our food. Okay, so that is examples of fruit. Now next is flowers. In some plants, the excess food is stored inside the flower or in the flower. Example, cauliflower, cauliflower, broccoli, or banana flower. You may have seen the flower of banana plant, right? Yes, that is also where the food is stored. Okay, so these are the examples of flowers being used as food: cauliflower, broccoli, banana flower, etc. And in some other plants, food is stored in their leaves. As you know, we use many different types of leafy vegetables, right? Yes, we eat the leaves of some plants. So that is why the food is prepared in, the food is stored, not prepared. The food is stored in the leaves of that plants. Okay, so examples: leaves, spinach, mint leaves, mint, cabbage. Okay, so examples of leaves are spinach, mint and cabbage. In these plants, the food is stored in the leaves of that plants, and we use these leaves as vegetables, or we use these leaves in our food. Okay, so these are the different parts of the plant in which the food prepared is stored. Okay, so the food is converted into starch. Okay, the excess food is converted into starch, and this starch is stored in different parts of the plant, like roots, stem, fruits, flowers and leaves. In different plants, the food is stored in different parts of the plant. Okay, I think it is clear. In some plants, roots store the food, in others stem, fruits, flowers and leaves. So these are the different parts of the plant in which the food is stored. Now let us discuss the next topic. Here we are discussing about some unusual plants. Unusual plants. So what are these unusual plants? Unusual means that is not very common, right? Yes. So we are discussing about some unusual plants. So the first one is croton plant. Croton plant. And why is this croton plant is called unusual plant? You may have seen the croton plants, right? See, as you can see here, these are the leaves of croton plants. I think you can clearly see the leaves. See, this one is yellow in color, yellow and green patches, and this one is reddish brown in color, brown colored leaves. So these are the leaves of croton plants. So you may have seen different types of leaves in croton plants. Some are yellow, some are brown, some are red, some are purple in color. Mostly leaves are green in color. You know that, right? Yes. But here in croton plants, the leaves are not green colored. So that is why this croton plant is called unusual plant. So mostly the leaves of the plants are green in color, but in croton plants the leaves are different colored, in different colors like yellow, red, purple or brown. So here actually the chlorophyll pigment gives green color to the plant or leaf. You know that, right? Yes, chlorophyll is the green colored pigment which gives green color to the plant. In croton plants also chlorophyll is present. Okay, in croton plants chlorophyll is there. Croton plants have chlorophyll, but because of this red colored pigment, this color of this chlorophyll, that is green color, we cannot see the green color. That is why the color of the leaves are different in color. So because of the presence of some other colored pigments like yellow or red colored pigment, we cannot see the presence or we cannot see the color of chlorophyll. But still the chlorophyll is present on the leaves of the croton plants also. And as I told you, croton plants contain chlorophyll, so they can also perform photosynthesis or they can prepare their own food. Okay, they can prepare food because chlorophyll is present, it is there. In croton plants chlorophyll is present. Okay, the green color pigment which is called chlorophyll is present in croton plants, but due to the presence of this other colored pigments we cannot see the color. We cannot see the color of the chlorophyll, but still it is present in croton plants. So these croton plants can produce their own food, that is photosynthesis. Okay. Now the next type of unusual plant is cactus. Cactus plants. Have you seen cactus plants? Yes, you may have seen. It is very common. We can see in the gardens and all. So in cactus plants, actually the leaves are reduced into spines. In cactus plants we can see spine-like structures, right? Yes, spine-like structures can be seen on the surface. So here the leaf is actually reduced into spines. Okay, and the green part which we can see on the cactus plant is actually the stem of the plant. So the stem, and it is also green in color, so chlorophyll is also present. Chlorophyll present in cactus plants also. Green color, that is why it is green in color. So in cactus plants also chlorophyll is there, and that is why the plant is green in color, and that plant can also produce their food, their own food. They can make their own food or they can perform photosynthesis. In cactus plants also they can perform photosynthesis. So in cactus plants actually the leaves are reduced or modified into spines, and that green color structure we can see is actually the stem of the plant. Okay, so here the stem perform photosynthesis because the stem contains chlorophyll and the stem can perform photosynthesis. That is the next type of plant in unusual plants. And now let us see the third type, that is parasitic plants. So the next type of unusual plant is parasitic plants. So what are these parasitic plants or parasites? In parasitic plants, they do not contain chlorophyll. Okay, so no chlorophyll. In parasitic plants, no chlorophyll. Okay, they do not contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is absent. So they cannot perform photosynthesis. So without chlorophyll, plants cannot make food, right? Yes. So in parasitic plants, chlorophyll is absent. Okay. Chlorophyll is absent in parasitic plant. So what happens? These plants cannot make their own food. So these type of plants, these type of parasitic plants depend on other plants for their food. Okay. So these parasitic plants depend other green plants for their food. A very common example is parasitic plant is Cuscuta. Cuscuta or Amarbel. Cuscuta or Amarbel. This Cuscuta is a climber, okay, which climbs on big trees, and it is yellow in color. Okay, so there is no chlorophyll, so this Cuscuta is yellow in color. They don't have green color. So these Cuscuta are a climbers which we can see on large trees. So these plants climbs on large trees and take the food from that tree. So that green tree, that big tree produces food, right? During photosynthesis, that tree produces food, and these parasitic plants take that food from that tree. So this that is why these plants are called what? Parasitic. They depend on other green plants. Depends on green plants for their food. So these parasitic plants depends on green plants for their food. So these plants take in food from other green plants. They cannot produce or they cannot make their own food because they don't have chlorophyll. So without chlorophyll, plants cannot make their food. So they depend on other plants, other green plants for their food. That is called parasitic plants. And example is Cuscuta or Doders. Cuscuta is also known as Doders also. So Doders, and commonly known as Amarbel, which is a yellow color climber which can be seen on the trees. So this is the one example of parasitic plant. Now another type of plants are there. They are called partial parasites. Partial means half, right? Yes, they are not completely parasites. Okay, so these plants are not completely parasites, but they are called partial parasites. What are they called? Partial parasites. So parasitic plants are of two types. The next one is partial parasites. Partial parasites. Now, why are they called partial parasites? Let me explain. In this type of plants, they are green in color. Okay, so these partial parasites are green in color. So they have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present. Chlorophyll is present, so they can make their food by photosynthesis. Okay, so in this partial parasites, chlorophyll pigment, that is the green colored pigment, is present, and these plants can make their food. Okay, so they can make their own food. Okay, so they don't have to take the food from other plants. So food is made by themselves because chlorophyll is present there in the plants. But in this type of plants, these plants depend other plants for water and nutrients. For water and minerals or nutrients, these plants depend on other plants. So they take water and minerals from other plants. So that is why they are called partial parasites. They are not completely parasites because they can produce their own food. They produce their food by photosynthesis using chlorophyll, and they can perform photosynthesis. But they take water and minerals or water and nutrients from other plants. That is why these plants are called partial parasites. An example is mistletoe. Mistletoe plant. Example of partial parasite. It is mistletoe plant. This plant is green in color. Mistletoe is green in color. Green colored plant which can be also seen on large trees. And because of their green color, there is chlorophyll, they can produce their food. But water and minerals they take from the big tree on which they are climbing. Okay. So these plants are therefore called partial parasites. Now let us see how plants and animals depend upon each other. Okay. So as I told you, plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. Plants releases oxygen into the air. So during photosynthesis, plants produce what? Oxygen gas, and which is released into the atmosphere or into the outside air. And this air is needed, this oxygen, okay, into the air. So this oxygen is needed for animals and human beings for our respiration. What is respiration? Breathing, okay, for breathing. We are breathing in oxygen. So this oxygen is taken from the, this oxygen is released into the air, and this oxygen is taken by animals and human beings. So we need oxygen to breathe, right? Yes, for breathing or for the process of respiration. Okay, breathing in and out, that process is called respiration. About that you will learn in higher classes. So for breathing in, we need what? Oxygen gas. And who produces oxygen? Plants. Okay. So during photosynthesis, plants produce this oxygen, and this oxygen is released out into the atmosphere, and that oxygen is needed for animals and human beings for breathing. So without plants we cannot survive. So plants produce this oxygen, and that oxygen is needed for our respiration or for our breathing. Now during respiration we take in oxygen. We need oxygen, right? Human beings and animals take in oxygen, and the carbon dioxide gas is released out. We take in oxygen and releases out what? Carbon dioxide. So this human beings releases out carbon dioxide during respiration or during breathing. So animals and human beings releases out what? Carbon dioxide. Clear? So we take in oxygen and we takes out or we releases out carbon dioxide. So that is why in the atmospheric air carbon dioxide is also present. Okay, so the air contains both oxygen and carbon dioxide. So oxygen we take in for breathing, and this carbon dioxide for in breathing in or in respiration we releases out carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is needed by plants. See, this carbon dioxide is taken by plants for photosynthesis. So plants need what? Carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So we breathe out carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is taken by plants through stomata. As we have discussed, through the tiny pores which are present on the surface of the leaves, this carbon dioxide is taken in through the stomata into the plants. So plants take in carbon dioxide. So that is why we are saying both plants and animals depend on each other for their survival. Without plants, we cannot survive on earth. Like we need oxygen, which is produced by photosynthesis, and we need food also, right? And the plants produce food, and that food we eat. So without plants we cannot exist on the earth. And similarly, the carbon dioxide is needed by plants. So plants need carbon dioxide, which is very essential to perform photosynthesis. So without photosynthesis, plants cannot survive, right? They have to make their food, then only they can live. So without photosynthesis, plants cannot survive. So for photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is also very essential. Okay, carbon dioxide is very essential, and animals and human beings breathe out. During respiration, we breathe out carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is taken by plants to perform photosynthesis. This is how the plants and animals depend on each other. And other than this food and oxygen, we need plants for plants give us many things like wood, shelter, like medicines, right? Yes, in the first class I have told you plants are very useful to us. Plants give us many things which are very useful to us. So in addition to this oxygen and food, plants also give us shelter, wood, medicines, etc. So that is why plants are called our green friends. As I told you, plants are very useful and helpful to us, and that is why we are calling plants our green friends. So that is all for today. I hope this topic is clear for you. Meet you all in the next class. Take care. Bye-bye.